Welcome to Midnight Mule FPL. I'm Midnight Mule and this is the video for Game Week 4 where I look at my team, which I think includes a couple of controversial or perhaps unusual decisions concerning Nottingham Forest and the free hit. But before we do that, let's see who did well in Game Week 3. And the top scorer in the Midnight Mule Mini League for Game Week 3 was Dave Appleford with Paqueta Rice with a very nice 90 points. And that was managed with Captain João Pedro for 18, Embremo for 10, Dior for 10, Bowen for 9, Munoz for 9, Sanchez 6, Salah 3, Reinders 2, Kuna 1, Electric Steve 1, Konza 1, the bench boost was played, Dubravka 2, Anderson 2, Mark Gay 2, and Gay 15. That was a very nice score, big well done. And top of our league is still Cohen Prescott with Halfan, so very nice. On 205 points, managed 56 in this particular game week. And that was managed with Haaland captain 18, João Pedro 9, Virgil van Dijk 8, Sarr 7, Sanchez 6, Semenyo 2, Kudos 2, Ekatike, can't say for 2, Van de Ven 1, Electric Steve 1, 8 Nori 0. And then on the bench, Dubravka 2, Palmer 0, Anderson 2 and Konza 1. As for me, I managed 51. I'm down in 188th. And that was with Captain Haaland 18, João Pedro 9, Sanchez 6, Pedro Porro 4, Xhaka 4. And I didn't know whether to play Xhaka or Dewsbury Hall, but I thought Xhaka's got a higher floor, so he's safer. That's why I went with him. Then I got Reinders 2, Woodford 2, Milenkovic 1, Morello 1, Johnson 1. And on the bench, Dubravka 2 and Dewsbury Hall 12. So had I played Dewsbury Hall over Xhaka, which obviously in retrospect I should have done, I'd have had a nice green arrow. But there we go. What are you going to do? What's happened's happened. And then Salit, who's now gone off abroad, he's not going to play again, 0. And Rodon for 7. So I could have had a good score. As it stands, it wasn't great. Regarding transfers for Game Week 4, I have 3 Forest players, 2 defenders and Chris Wood. And I know a lot of managers in my position would be free hitting or wildcarding now because they're playing Arsenal and Nunes has now left as manager and it's going to be Ange Postecoglou. And when he was at Spurs as manager, they didn't keep an awful lot of clean sheets. However, they did have a lot of defender injuries. And it is his first game week in charge, so he may not make a lot of changes. They're away to Arsenal, so they are expected to be letting in goals. But if I, for example, sold one of my Nottingham Forest defenders for a Crystal Palace defender, Palace could let in a goal. Probably won't, but they could do. And then the next 2 game weeks for Forest, 5 and 6, are very nice. It's Sunderland and Burnley. So I just kind of think I'll accept a red arrow this game week, or a probable red arrow, and hope the game weeks 5 and 6, things will be better for me. Chris Wood's potentially going to be jet lagged. He's not back yet from New Zealand, I think. So I don't know what his minutes are going to be like. Maybe more reduced than normal. But again, it's Arsenal. Even if he was fully fit, fully rested, you wouldn't really expect him to score anyway. There's a chance I'm going to bench Chris Wood, but I may not. I've also got reason to believe it's plausible there's going to be game postponements between now and game week 19. Because if you look at any sort of media beyond the mainstream media, you'll see that there are protests to do certain things across various countries in Europe. And I think there's a chance that the police are going to be needed for some big protest at some time, maybe in this country, which means they're not going to be around to police a football game, which means it's going to have to get postponed. So that may happen. I might be talking out my hat, but I think that's plausible. So my team, I'm currently playing to captain Salah away to Burnley, which is a good fixture. And Salah is very highly owned. I personally think that Haaland at home to Man United has a good chance of outscoring Salah. But the problem is if I captain Haaland and Salah does better, Salah's going to be getting me a red arrow for every point that he gets. Whereas with current ownership levels, if I captain Salah and Haaland outscores Salah, I'm still going to be getting slight green arrows for every point that Haaland gets. So this is the slightly safer play. Although, if I didn't know anything about effective ownership, I'm pretty sure I'd be captaining Haaland and not Salah. And I may switch it yet, but that's where I'm at just now. And I've also got Reinders, of course, at home to Man United. I've got João Pedro up front away to Brentford with his mate Sanchez in goal. I've got Pedro Porro away to West Ham with his mate Johnson. Don't know what his minutes are going to be like. And of course they got Xavi there now. So I may need to get rid of him in the next few weeks, but let's see how it goes. And I'm going to play Dewsbury Hall at home to Aston Villa. Clearly I should have played him last game week. He's clearly a good player. Villa haven't been great this season. Everton have actually been quite good. And then my 3 Forest players, I've got Chris Wood up front, Milenkovic and Morello. Not expecting anything from them. Maybe 2-2-1 or 3-3-1. But I'm not going to be spending transfers. I'm not going to spend a chip on them. Unless something unforeseen happens. Like if one of my other players, Salah, Haaland for example, get injured before the weekend, then there's a reasonable chance I will play a chip or do something. Then on my bench, I've got Dubravka at home to Liverpool, Granit Xhaka away to Palace, and I'd quite like to play him. I think there's a reasonable chance he'll get 3 points, possibly 4, but probably 3, which is quite possibly going to be more than Chris Wood. So I could play him instead of Chris Wood, but Granit Xhaka is so lowly owned, it doesn't matter if I get that call wrong. So again, I decide I'll probably play Chris Wood, but there's a chance I'll swap those 2 around. Then I've got Roden of Leeds away to Fulham, and then Silt, who was at Sunderland, he's now gone abroad now and he's not even going to be playing. Roden's yellow flagged, so I know my bench is a bit worryingly thin, but I'm still just going to probably roll this game week. And there we have it. That's what happened in game week 3 and my plans for game week 4. Not feeling great about game week 4, but I kind of think between now and the end of game week 6, hopefully I'll make some ground up, and sometimes you got to lose a battle to win a war. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a good weekend. Cheers. Bye.